Hello and welcome back to that Eurovision site. And we've got a start of what is a new series this evening, where we'll be previewing some national final selections this year before they happen. Go through what we want to happen, what we think will happen, and what we think of the selection as a whole before we see the main event. Today I am joined by, as I am quite frequently,
Hi, I'm Kittens and I use she, her pronouns.
And Angus, still the most annoying he, him pronoun user on the website, checking in once again.
mm, see, that's something we need to rank.
Exactly, just giving us more work, but that's how it should be.
Because there's a lot of annoying he, him pronoun users on the site.
It's true.
But more on topic. Montesong 2024. As we record, it's in a week, and it's come quickly. National final season will officially be upon us. It's good to be back, first and foremost.
Yeah. We're back,
Uh,
baby.
Like, even as someone who has never given a second thought to Montenegro at this contest, I was on that list of songs like anyone's business because we didn't get ESCZ this year. So
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
this is
like our surrogate
yeah.
ESCZ.
Slash that October Estilao we had 2 years ago, whatever
Oh,
that was.
that was weird, and all the good ones got eliminated. Mayan,
Sure.
we won't forget you.
Anyway,
Okay,
Montesong.
Montesong.
Back
What do we
on.
think? What do we think? Just in general about Montesong. First of all, as a concept, it's brand new, zero identity, but coming into it, people this time last year, it didn't exist at all. Like, it hadn't even been registered as a trademark or anything. This is something very new that they've only cobbled together in the last few months. How do you think they've done with all this?
I mean, real talk, like Montenegro have not obviously they weren't in last edition, but they've not qualified a lot. In fact, they've only qualified twice. Um, it, mm, Again, I'm kind of with you in that I have never really paid any attention much to Montenegro, probably ever, apart from probably Slavko, which I kind of was obsessed with a while for a while and then got really annoyed with. Um, so uh, yeah, it's definitely. Uh, I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, but at least they're trying something,
That
bless them. So I'm going to give them the ESCZ benefit of the doubt and say, look, you are clearly trying a thing. Good, good for you. Go try it, babes, and
I
please
genuinely think
learn.
that is the best thing you can say to them at this point is they are trying because a country with their record in the contest and their budget for the contest, they don't need to try. They could perfectly get away with not caring at all, but they are trying. They're having a good go of it, more so than some more established contests. Like they're maintaining a pretty active presence building up to it. Like they have Insta stories every day. They got regular new posts. They have interviews with the artists at some point, and it kind of feels like a baby Pesma to me, which they said they were trying to emulate Dora. I think they've gone in a better direction than Dora, and that
Yeah, yeah.
it's baby Pesma, and we all love Pesma.
Do. Um, yeah, I kind of agree that I don't think it's fully cooked yet, but
Yeah,
I feel like at
it
least they're
doesn't
trying
need
to
to
do
be
something.
because even when you consider the songs, which we'll get to talk about later, this time last year, Montenegrin artists didn't know this was going to happen. So they won't have that song ready because
And
why
they've
would they?
and they've managed
What,
to cook up,
what,
16 artists. That's
they,
pretty good.
and they had more.
There
Yeah.
were, like, I must say,
They
like,
said no to people.
they had 36 entries, of which 32 were valid. The four of which were not valid, different reasons. We're not sure about all of them. But the thing
I
being,
think it was two for language, one too
two
long,
for
one just
runtime, one for language, and one. Sorry, yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, it's one for language, two for
one
runtime.
just went and released it,
Yeah.
which
Um, as one does. But I say, like,
there's always one.
it's 16, I'd say, credible songs. I do
Yeah,
think the way in which they are closer to what Dora is doing is also with how they're now promoting the artists and everything, and how they're doing the interviews. It feels much more of a we're choosing like it feels more like a celebration of the Montenegro music scene rather
yes.
than like Pesma is very specifically Eurovision focused. Like they do have the selection procedure and everything set up in such a way that it is also a celebration of the Serbian music scene, but as such, it's purely for Eurovision. Whereas Dora claims to be also its own music festival in its own right, regardless of
I
whether you
think
think that's accurate.
I think that this lineup is better than most Stora lineups I've seen.
Like,
Maybe that's
yeah,
just me.
but yeah, no, it's a very they're doing a very good job with doing the most with the limited budget they have. It's good to see that there's clearly some enthusiasm for this contest also domestically there because that could help Montenegro stay in the contest long term and just in general help, bring some good songs that we otherwise wouldn't
Yeah,
get at Eurovision.
and I like the language rule. I like that it's again more similar to Pesma here, but it's a language rule which I think works because for a country like Montenegro, I think otherwise they would just get a bunch of utter crap if they didn't force some restrictions on what you can and can't do. Like we've all seen far too many terribly translated English songs from that part of Europe. They're terrible, but you make it so it's something that actually represents Montenegro. So Montenegrin language or one of the other basically the same languages. Uh, it firstly they know the words better, so better lyricism, better song, better everything. And secondly, it will identify more with the people of Montenegro, and they've got support from I think it's the Performers Union of Montenegro or something like that. So they're putting down roots that so much so that I don't think this edition matters at all. They could do terribly. They could get 0 points at Eurovision. It would not matter because all they need to do this year is prove that you can do this thing and you can do it well enough that people will want to be in it again. And if there's
But if
32 submissions, they'll probably have some returnees at some point,
but
and
if
they'll
they're
want to do it again.
successful,
If they're
like
successful,
if they're successful with this, if they at the very least qualify what we could get next year out of a Montesong 2025. I had
fine.
to think about that
But,
because it's in the wrong
right,
part of the.
if anyone from RTCG is watching, January, like early January,
No,
or just
no,
or
no.
drop
I'm okay with
or
November.
yeah, no, okay, or November, but just Montesong 2
Electric Boogaloo.
because it's going to be it will only continue to get more confusing.
Honestly,
as
do
time goes on.
combine
Because
Montesong with the German naming scheme and just as like the subtitle, always make it song for
well,
city we're going to.
Montesong 2025, Return of the Jedi.
For that,
So you said that maybe they could be competitive, they could qualify based on the songs in their lineup. Firstly, what are our personal favorites? And secondly, do you think there are some songs in there that could go on and do well?
I feel like Angus, you should go first because my opinions are
should I go first? Okay,
you go.
so there are a
Hang
few.
on, hang on. I need to get up our opinions spreadsheet.
That's literally what I'm using to rem I'm terrible at remembering this kind of stuff. But I also want to speak off the cuff. I mean, there are a few songs I like. In general, as I said, like I think all these songs are credible, and with even the songs I like
Oh, that was
less,
your number one. Oh God.
even the songs I like less, I'm like, I don't mind hearing them again. I don't necessarily need them at Eurovision, but they wouldn't be in my bottom place. And it's not like the song that I automatically skip. And you know what? That's already a big victory for 16 for any 16 song national final. Um, I really like the guitar in Stop War by Bent Line. That's my review of that song. I like the guitar. Um, Verica Trulikovic, very good. And Bariak is that was the yeah, that's the Disaster Band. And I say that affectionately. That has all the elements of a like soft rock disaster bop, and I'm not opposed to that because it will be chaotic in the best possible way. I mean, songs that could do well, we need to assume that there's like approximately zero budget for staging, and that we're going to depend on either very strong performers and slash or good camera angles to work with. And that leaves me sort of in the place where either Georgia or Dolce Hera are like the safest bets because they can maybe hoover in just enough televotes to qualify. And if they then qualify, they will get also some jury votes at least. That being said, yeah, it depends a lot on the staging because if any of these artists or bands have like a very strong visual eye or have contact with people that can like create a very good staging or live performance, they could hit it out of the park and easily qualify. Likewise, even the best possible song, regardless of what anyone thinks is the best possible song, can, finish dead last if it just has the kind of piss poor staging that we see at Eurovision every year from some countries.
Yeah, I have like basically the opposite to Angus. Not quite, but like Angus's top three are my 16th, 13th, and 15th places.
We're
Um,
back.
welcome back to that Eurovision with a slice of arguing. Um, I I mean, I liked that it was a very wide selection. That, there was quite a lot of different stuff going on, but I did feel for me that a lot of things were just a little bit too low key. And I don't really mean like in terms of BPMs. I mean in terms of there isn't enough oomph to a lot of these entries. Um, like even the best ones need more. And obviously we might see that in live performance and we might see that in staging. So I'm not about to give them like the worst hand right now. Um, but I just felt like everything needed just a little bit more a little bit more elevation, a little bit more drama, a little bit more strings, a little bit more something with almost everything. That being said, my favorite, and I've gone back and forth with this a bit, is Leto. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My language is terrible. Um, simply because it has literally been stuck in my head for about a week. Like I'll just be doing nothing and I'll be like, let and it's just there. It's stuck in my brain. I have no concept of what this is going to be staged like. It might be terrible, but like right now I can give it 100% on the still stuck in my head ranking, which obviously is another ranking we'll have to do. Um Number two, I went with Tina Jankic with Nova, mostly because it really reminds me of music from Persona, the video game. It really does have the vibe. Um, and number three, I went with Dolce Hera with Repeat. I do like kind of jazzy, kind of vibey entries, and it has something visually. It has something like, just the looks are
Visually.
strong. The look is strong. I expect that to be replicated on stage in a strong way.
Okay,
um
I'll back off. I'll back off. You're not
no,
finished.
I mean, I there were others that like stood out to me a bit, but I mean, I found Stop War quite funny, and not in a fun way. Um, just in kind of, sorry, Angus, don't murder me. Um, and clickbait is very weird, and that's all I'm gonna say about clickbait.
I
It's
think
very
it it
weird,
it, it is a fun kind of weird.
but it does have a kind of Smash Mouth type baseline, which I do enjoy.
There we go. Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we get into the correct opinions, firstly, in defense of Montesong, I'm not. It's not surprised that some of these are a bit half-baked because they didn't have that much time to work on them, really. And I think whatever ends up winning, there's every chance we can see it getting just pumped full of that sweet, sweet revamp juice. In the that's in the very a lot of months they have until Eurovision. Like they could just completely redo the song if they wanted to, because they've got the time. But unsurprisingly, we'll go reverse order. My third place is Cry, because it's a Balkan woman singing a ballad. My second place is Dobrodošli, because it's a Balkan woman singing a ballad. And my first place is Tara Zivkovic, because it's a Balkan woman and she's singing a ballad. It's as simple as that. I They're just good songs. But as for what I think could do well at Montesong, I'm not a psychic, so I don't know what will do best at Eurovision. I would think Leto, Leto, Leto. I can see him coming with some hilariously terrible staging, sort of like Marko Mandic did at Pesma this year. Just very memorably, what on earth is going on here staging? It just gives me the vibe. Like it will be spoken about in a way that most stagings will not. That's just my thoughts. What might happen? It won't be boring. That's all I'll say. I think Bariak has stands a good chance. It's got a good running order. It's got more going on than quite a lot of the songs do. Even if you don't like what's going on, things are going on, and televoters like when things go on. And finally, Nina Zizic, I think if you like combine everything together, you've got people know who she is. She can sing well. Big Balkan ballad. What wasn't a wild card, like my first place. Decent shot. Do I think any of these would get to the final? It's a toss up at best, I think. If they stage it well, maybe yes. If they don't, probably not. But then again, we've heard about three songs other than the Montesong ones, and they're all quite good for coming out from Latvia. But we don't really know yet. It's way too early to tell. Is the both think about it.
And
But Latvia are winning, so
I feel like even in this, even in Montesong, like it's way too early to tell, and
yeah.
because you just don't know how these are going to translate to a stage right now,
Yeah, we
and
could
you
see like Isaac, we could see like Glumsy Bend come out with like the best staging we've ever seen in Landslide. We don't know. This this
exactly
this is the fun part of this series that we could just be chatting utter nonsense and we don't
the
know.
the amount of times that I've liked an artist on a recording and been underwhelmed by them on stage, or vice versa, I
Benny
find
Cristo, anyone?
I mean most of Benidorm Fest, anyone.
Oh God.
Um
I also like it can also be the other way around that we get underwhelmed at the national final and still are happy with the end result, regardless of the where they finish in Eurovision. I mean, this year's ESTZ, like last ESTZ, is a good example of that actually. Like the national final can be quite grim live, and it can
Mm,
still lead to something good in the end.
yeah.
yeah, I'm more hopeful than I would be than I
Yes.
initially was when I heard
I
these.
I
I
I
was
was
expecting
expect
something quite bad.
yeah, given the Montenegro track record in recent years, I was expecting 15 utter dross, one okay. And it's like 15 okay. Maybe even 16 songs that I would not turn off if they came on, which is very, very rare for a national final to do. Because there is some utter crap that gets into a lot of selections that has not seemed to seep into here. Like there are songs that are not for me. There are songs that are not for Angus. There are songs that are not for Kittens. But as objective as you can get music to be, they're not bad. They're maybe half baked. They're not brilliant, but
They're a
there's
little
something.
undercooked. Put them back in for a bit.
I
Put some
think,
sprinkles on top, and we could have something.
But that's of
yeah,
course also where maybe why they're doing it in November, so it has time for like if the song is already somewhat commercially generating some interest in Montenegro and maybe slightly beyond that, that gives you the commercial opportunities and the financial opportunities as well to maybe give it a proper revamp. I remember, like, regardless of the outcome of that, I remember last time North Macedonia did a national final, they had a prize. The winner also got a €2,000 prize that had to go to revamping the song, which isn't a terrible idea. Just giving a bit of like a professional producer to actually look at it rather than studio personnel number 15. And I say it with all the love in the world to a lot of those songs, but a lot of this feels underproduced at this moment, but they have the time to work on that.
and all these songs are already better than the last North Macedonia national final entry. Well done, guys. But that is what I mean when I say some dross gets it. So moving on, we've seen a stage get leaked recently, or leaked posted by the broadcaster themselves. It's not really a leak. What do we think of the stage while we're here?
I I kind of feel like I have nothing that much to say about the stage, which is kind of good. It's very
Yeah,
neutral for me. It is it is not bad. It is not exemplary.
yeah,
I I'm kind of glad that they're not just slapping it on any basic stage and
yeah.
doing, you know, nothing with it. They are they are at least trying to make this a big deal. And more applause to them for that. They are trying to do something. So I I'm not wowed, but I'm again not angry. It
That
is certainly a good effort.
it's a stage that is very difficult to be angry at, and I think even like Ewan would struggle to have a very strong negative opinion on this stage, and he can go in on stages,
I
and
mean,
he will.
it's a national final stage. I will say we've had much bigger broadcasters, and I mean like Big Five broadcasters, come up with stages much worse, much cheaper, and just less suitable for national finals
Do
than this.
decide. Um,
I meant just, have you seen any of the mid to late tens German national finals? Because,
Thankfully not.
dear Lord,
but
um,
also you decide.
and you decide. So this is no, but this is a very like I was like, oh, yeah, that's a national final stage, and then I was like, oh yeah, it's an actual national final stage, and not, and we all know how much I love them, but it's not. It's even better than what Una Volta does in whatever their final is, let alone their
Well, they don't
semi-final.
have anywhere to house
What I know, but my point, but it's just an example. Like it's an actual proper stage, whereas other
until
countries,
Valentina Monetta lets people use a backyard. What are they going to do?
true, but you get my point. Like it's an actual stage at least, which I mean, obviously I was expecting that. Like I'm not trying to talk down on what I'm sure is a lovely country that I've never visited yet, but for a small broadcaster with an even smaller budget. I was very happily surprised. Like we shouldn't forget the
Yeah.
last time they competed in Eurovision, the entire participation costs were paid by the artist. They were planning to attend until she was like, here's a bag of money. I have a song. I want to compete." And this time they have like the time and motivation to throw up a whole national final and make it look, again, just credible and competent, which is more than what Denmark can say pretty much any year.
And they've already got a better voting system than Denmark as well. Okay, so final question. No, 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 no dancing on the answer. Who's going to win Montesong 2024, Angus?
Georgia,
Kittens?
I Dr.
Just,
Hera.
I'm going to say Isaac Shabanovic. Three different answers, and let's see if any of us are right this time next week. Unless we have any last burning things about Montenegro, Montesong, RTCG, anything?
RDCG, good job. Honestly, good job.
Yeah, good
I'm
job.
actually looking forward to this. Usually I'm principally opposed to any national final happening before Figmas, but I I'm
Yeah,
I'm
good
looking
job.
forward
Yeah.
to this.
Uh, I will be tuning in with bated breath, and you can too on wherever it is. I don't know, but we're done here now. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comments with maybe your favorites from this song and who you think will win, and subscribe to the channel and follow us at the Eurosite on everything, especially Blue Sky, because that's where we're all on now. Because we're the cool kids, we're trendsetters. Finger guns. Yeah, and also be sure to check out that Eurovision site, the website, but for all your Eurovision news, that Eurovision podcast for all your podcasts. We're doing lots of them lately, so check them out. All that's left to say is goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.